Hey y'all, Ted Simpson here again from naturesbrushstudio.com. I am a certified Bob Ross instructor and here to do another fine painting for you. And the first step, you know this, the first step is to put a little bit of this liquid white all around my canvas. I'm using a nice little 12 by 16 today. Reason why I'm using these, you see so often here, if you watch my videos, I'll use 16 by 20s quite often. That's what I use for my example paintings when I'm out teaching classes. And I'll also, my other size is the 12 by 16. This is what my students use. So I thought here, let me do my prep canvases, let me do my finished example I like to display on the 12 by 16 here. That way I know what my students are doing. I'm using the same tools they are, the same size canvas they are. It allows me to plan out this painting and have a good time while doing it. So, give it a little touch test here. It's, I would say, a little on the heavy side. If 1 is 0 paint, 10 is way too much, I'm at about a 6. I want to stay right in the 5 zone, just that perfect, even layer of color. I'm a little bit to the heavy side, just a little bit. That's okay. If you wanted to bring it down a little bit, now I clean my brush, I'm just going to go across it and I'll pick up a very small amount here. Brush it out onto a paper towel and I can pick up a little bit more. Take myself back down to that nice even 5. And let's mix up a little bit. Work some paint up into the brush here, a little bit of the phthalo blue with a touch of midnight black in it. There we go. Look at that. The more I go over it, the more it mixes with the liquid white and the lighter it gets down towards the horizon. Okay. Boy, that went super, super quick. Maybe a little bit more color in the brush and maybe something sitting out here. I don't know. Oh, distant form in the sky. That's it. That is it. Painting over. We're all done. Not really. I'm going to clean most of that paint out of the brush. And now I still have some paint in the brush. See that? That's okay. Just want to go over it and take out those brush marks there, some of those lines. When you're going over this with the brush a number of times here, sometimes you'll get these little, I call them rake marks. But with a clean brush and a gentle crisscross, you'll take out those marks. Alright. Now, a little bit more of the blue and black. Black and blue. Let's put a little down here. Pull in a little bit further towards the center at the bottom and letting it just sort of get shorter as I go up. Same thing on this side. Pulling almost all the way across. And then as I work across, letting it get shorter and shorter. It's almost like a little V, a funnel effect. Don't worry, we're going to take care of that. And, as always here, if you want to make it a little bolder, just do that same step again. And we've got the basics of our sky and water. One more time, I'm going to I'll tell you what, I'm going to clean out the brush in my paint thinner. I put it out there, might as well use it. And my beater bucket. Some more paper towels up here. All right. Really make sure all that paint thinner is out of the brush. And I go across, all the way across, and just lower my brush as I go. Look how it pulls some of that color across the middle. Leaving it a little bit lighter, leaving some little sunlight zingers, as I call them. All right. So it looks like today's painting is going to have a whole bunch of cloud shapes in there. Okay, that's easy enough to do. So many ways to do it. Titanium white, a little bit of that. It worked into the 1-inch brush here. And I'm just going to make little motions here, little circular things happening. Look how quick that goes. That one's done. Now my blending brush is this mostly cleaned out 2-inch here. Give it a little tickle, little circular strokes, couple of crisscrosses. The cloud is there. It's kind of off in the distance. And, you know, if you want it a little bolder, you got to be firm and get some color out there. And the most important thing is once it's out there, leave it be. Don't overwork it, or else it'll just disappear into your sky. The more color you have in your sky, meaning the deeper the color, thinner the paint with the liquid white, the more the cloud will just disappear on you. I'm not sure I explained that very well. I'm going to say that again. The more liquid white you have, the deeper the sky color. If it's really dark, dark blue, it means there's a lot of paint there. And the more you work the cloud, the faster it'll disappear. So, I'm going to have a big old line of clouds here. It's coming out, moving the brush back and forth, getting the basic shape here. Look at that chunky paint. There's a lot of paint out there, but it'll sit there and stay if you leave it alone. It's chunky. That's what makes it nice and bright white. Now with most of the paint off my brush, look what happens when I give it a little circular strokes here at the bottom. Look how it just blends right into the sky automatically. See that? Nice and distinct at the top, a little bit faded at the bottom. Using my super clean brush and just the tips of the bristles, I can soften that cloud just a little bit. Just a little bit. Fade that bottom edge. There we go. Super simple. I'm going to pick up some more paint and maybe add another little cloud form here. Give it a little blend. Now with the sky being a little bit lighter down near the horizon, these white clouds are a little less visible. That's why you got to put on a little bit more paint. Make sure they're nice and bright. There we go. There we go. Got a nice little sky happening here. So let's add a nice dark mountain. And I'm going to use quite a bit of black and just a little bit of blue in it. Mostly black with just a little bit of the phthalo blue. You want it even darker? I'll add a touch of brown just to keep things nice and dark. let's have this old mountain kind of laying right about there. All I'm doing is making the outside edge. Getting a nice clean outside edge. Something like that. Boy, that is just a lazy old mountain, isn't it? Nice and flat. It's not so strong nowadays. Maybe give it a little bump there. Not really scraping off the paint all that vigorously, just getting the majority of it off. Giving it a nice light scrape there to get off the excess. Okay, I gotta clean out that 1-inch brush. Make sure that all that paint thinner is out of it. If you've got extra brushes, now's a good time to just pick up a dry one. Make sure that it's super dry. If you don't have another one, just really, really scrub out this one. Gently press in, pull out. Press in, pull to the side here. Don't overwork it. Pull basically half the mountain to the right, and then the rest of it, just give it a little pull to the left. That way, we're starting to build this three-dimensional shape here. It's all about the angle. Okay? And you can change things. You want it more to the right, grab some of it and pull more to the right. If you want some more shadow side, grab some and pull to the left. All we're looking for is indications here right now. So, this is going to be a darker mountain today. So, I'm taking some of that background color, adding just a touch of blue to it, and a touch of white. You saw that. There's no fooling you. Making a pretty dark gray. All we wanted is a little bit lighter than that background color. Let me add a little bit more white, maybe a touch of more blue. Let's see if that works. That green is getting in my way there. I had to flatten it down. It looked like it was ready to fall over right into my pile. So give me a moment to fix my palette. I still think it needs to be a little lighter. Let's give this a try. I'm going to switch over to the small knife here. Okay. And now, just going to bring some of this color out. It's a very dark mountain here today. Little rolls of color. Now we might be doing 2 stages of highlights here. This darker stage of highlight would go on first. Let's take a look back here. Let me take a step back. That is dark, isn't it? A little out here. There we go. Now going back and making my shadow side is just a darker shade. I gotta figure out a color that's a little darker. Hopefully not as dark as the background color. Depending on how you mix it, you might get different results here. But just little indications here of some angles going the opposite way. Okay, told you this is a nice dark mountain here. All right, I tell you what, let's experiment. A little bit significantly lighter color here. And maybe let's dance in. Nope, not light enough. Ooh, but I did see a little bit of shadow that's needed right there. Almost forgot that. So I'll tell you what, let's experiment again. I'm going to start with my white and add just a little bit of my first highlight color. Significantly lighter though. Oh, there we go. Nice. I like that. Let that just sort of zing and dance around there. A little bit on this side. Ooh, little bits of sunlight kind of hitting it. I went over it a couple times and it disappeared on me, so let me drop a little in and leave it be. Okay, so now, I'm going to take a little bit of just plain old titanium white right up here on my brush. Create a little bit of mist and fog here. Getting a little firm with it here. Notice how it's not pure white. I'm tapping it a little bit, letting it pick up some of that mountain undercolor there and creating a little darker mist-like shape. The more you keep hitting it, the darker it will get, I promise you. Just tapping, creating some mist there. Now, with most of that paint out of my 1-inch brush, I'm going to soften the bottom of this mist just by lots and lots of little tappies. Brushes there. Boy, the tendency is, the temptation is there to overwork it. If you see a little bit of mist there, you're probably good. Okay? I know the temptation is there to come back. Let me show you. Make it a little brighter. I get it. Maybe another little half a layer of mist under that. That's about it. Okay? Avoid that temptation. Let's come in here. I got a little bit of this dark color. No, I guess I don't. I used it all up, didn't I? I used all that background mountain color up. So, wiping my knife. What did I use there? A little bit of the black, a touch of the blue, a little bit of the Van Dyke brown. It's easy to make that back up. Got my dark color in here now. I didn't need much of it because I'm going to use a little bit of my highlight color to bring it back. Bring it back a little bit lighter. This is just some undercolor here. We're going to put in some foothills. And I'm just going to play around with it until I find find the shade that I'm looking for. And there's the basic shade. Okay. Clean most of that paint out of my brush. And let's create the rest of that foothill with mist at the bottom. Look at that. Just by tapping, I'm filling in the rest of that foothill, but it's misty, already misty. Look how it just fades away to nothing over there. It's okay, we're putting something in front of it, so. Maybe another little foothill. Look how I just added a little bit more paint to my brush. It's a little darker than the misty bottom, so it shows up. Look at that, I put a whole nother little layer here. Boy, that happens quick, doesn't it? That's it. Now, if I add a little green to this same color, maybe a little bit, ooh, maybe I just use this right here. I don't know, light, not so light. Figure out what works for you. Let's put a little highlight up in here. Just by tapping, put a little green up here. Oh, it's so light. We don't need to mess with it that much. A little indication of some greenery back here. But since it's so far away, just a little bit of detail, not very much. If you want to make this very foothill-like, you want to put thousands of little treetops up here, just pull up, just not even a 1/4 inch, you know, just very, very light, very, very light. Same thing here, a little bit of highlight up on this. Let it work its way down and disappear. Little treetops. There we go. There we go. I'm going to clean out my brush super quick. Now, using a little bit darker color, that same dark undercolor of my mountain mix I created, I'm adding a little bit of green to it right away. And what do we have here? Maybe this is going to be our foreground. Okay, a little bit of land right here meeting the water. It's darker still. I think we'll come by and add some highlight to it here. So, get in a basic shape, working my way, creating a little, what is that, almost a cove, isn't it? Where the water is going to begin. Okay, we're just pulling down little indication of a reflection here, just using whatever paint is still on your brush. Figure out this nice, interesting water line. Clean out your brush. I find it works better having a nice clean brush. And I can soften it a little bit. Figure out where things need to be. Then very gently pull sideways. No matter where you are, just pull sideways. Give it that nice little blur there. Okay. Now. I'm going to put in some highlights, but I figured let's get our trees in first. I'm going to put highlights into that grass. I can get rid of this stuff. Don't need it anymore. And let us take whatever black I have here, a bit of the brown, a little bit of green. Let's see if that's going to be enough. Probably not. I'm going to make some big old trees here. You need a lot of paint to do it. So a little bit more green. Tell you what, maybe a touch of the blue, touch of this dark sienna. Just need some more volume here of dark color. If you don't have enough, just stop a minute. Add some more color to your palette here. I'm adding a little bit more black. And while I have it here, I'm starting to run low. I might as well squeeze out just a little bit of this alizarin crimson. Ooh, I have more than there than I think. All these colors are going to work together here. Now that I have all that crimson, oh my lord, now I have enough. The crimson and blue make purple. The crimson and green make brown. Crimson and black make kind of a dark purple color. And when you add them all together, crimson, blue, black, brown, green, you get this awesome mountain mix. Lots and lots of paint. Oh my goodness. Good thing I'm doing a couple paintings today. Just gonna have to make sure I make a lot of trees. Okay. I had to grab a couple of fan brushes. I don't know which one's going to work here. They're all pretty good, but I wanted to grab a couple to get about the same size one here for when I put in the highlights. Loading lots and lots of paint into my brush. Nice wedge of color. Look at that. Lots and lots of paint. Let's add evergreens. Tap, 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 tap. Make a skinny little line. And then using the corner of the brush and tapping down, I start building my tree. Filling it in as I go. All we want is a nice dark shape there. Maybe off in the back. Let me show you something. Maybe off in the back. This is going to be too hard to really see much detail here. Just a little indication of a whole line of trees way back there. You can put them in after if you want. I like doing them before. I like working back to front. So then, I drop in the big one. And another one. Boy, I guess I didn't need that much paint. I definitely need to do a couple of paintings today here to use up all the excess paint. There we go. Look at that monster going in there. got so much extra paint, we can put in little guys here. Maybe a little indication of one. He's kind of leaning a little bit. Alright, so we've got some trees there. And as I said, I'm just going to put that other brush down. And I'm going to use just another fan brush here. There we go. A little bit of the liquid white. My cadmium yellow. And I start pulling some of that cad yellow down and working it in. Might need just another drop there. We want this paint to be a little bit thinner than the dark. So we stick paint right on top of paint. A little bit of green to tint it. Figure out that color. Whatever color's going to work for you there. Pull that through and look at that. We've got a thinned, tinted highlight color. And let's see, our light is coming from the right. So I'm going to focus on putting a little bit more highlights to the right here. Working quickly, get some color out there. Putting highlights here and there, letting some of the dark remain. There we go. Now, I'm mixing a little bit of the Indian yellow into my highlight color here. I'm going to take a single drop of paint thinner. You could use liquid white or the paint thinner, just make sure you use very, very little. Getting some of this duller greenish color up on the tips of my brush here. And let's create a little bit of grass. Just by tapping. Getting some of this color, working my way down, creating this grassy area right on down to the water's edge. And using the small fan brush here, this can take just a little bit of time here. Depending on the size of your land here, you could use the 1-inch brush. It just does a heck of a lot more in every tap. So when you have these little small areas, the fan brush works just fine. Working in sections here, working my way down. There we go. There we go. Now, let's see here. Using a very, very small roll of the Van Dyke Brown, let's have a little, just a little dirt line here, a little bit of earth. Just taking my knife and just rubbing it. Trying to keep a flat look to this. If you just make a curve, it looks a little odd. So I just make sure I'm rubbing my knife basically horizontal. Doesn't take much color. Sometimes when we're really gooping, making it look rocky, we'll use a bit more paint, but not today. Not on this one. There we go. Then, just a touch of the liquid white right on the edge of the knife here. I can cut a little water line here and there. Get some on the side of the knife here, and you can create a little bead if desired. Once I'm working my way down here, you want a little more prominent. Add just a little bit of paint to the side of the knife. And when I mean a little, I'm talking fishing line. Think thread. Very, very little color. You don't need giant stripes everywhere. Just a thin line. If it is a little strong, just keep rubbing. And it'll go away. And just like that, we've got our happy little scene. Isn't that nice? Super simple. Not sure exactly what the time is on this one, since I had to stop the recording due to a phone call. But I signed my name super quick. And I think we're all set. I hope you give this one a try, find out how easy it is, and feel free to switch it up and add in a whole bunch of other things. And let me know how it goes. Alright, I'll see you in the next video.